Activate party mode.
A-firm, party mode engaged.
Welcome to Party Mode, the F1 podcast with no limits. We are fresh from watching the race live. Literally, it's just finished, so we have that post-race glow. I am obviously joined by my good friends, Matt Collins and Charlie Curtis. Boys, it's really nice to actually talk about the race immediately after it happened, even though it's been high stress for me. But let's talk about where we are, because Charlie's back, I believe. Don't know where Matt is, doing something cool with celebrities, and I am at Imola, where F1 will be in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I just got back from a spring break week with the family in Mexico, which was awesome. And then came back to all the sports and all the things to do this weekend. And tomorrow I leave for a 2-night, 3-day overnight field trip for my son's 5th grade trip. So I got suckered into volunteering, and I think I bit off a little more than I can chew on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds horrible.
I mean, it's about an hour bus ride. It's a 2-hour giant boat ride. And then we get to camp. I think there's 50 kids, bunk beds. It's a 5th grade camp. I don't know if you guys do them there, but we always did them growing up. But you do a 5th or 6th grade field trip, and it's overnight. And so many kids have never been away from their parents, and they're not the problem. It's the parents that have never been away from their kids that are a nightmare. But yeah, it'll be a memory. It'll be a memory.
Like, I want to be a good parent, but I don't think I want to be that good of a parent where I go on overnight field trips.
You know, I got suckered into it because there's another dad that I'm a buddy with. And in order to do this, you have to go through all these background tests and fingerprints. And you have to do a lot of legwork to get cleared. So early in the school year, he's like, hey, I'm going to volunteer for the trip. So get your stuff in order. Let's do it together. Great. Last minute, he bails. So now I felt bad bailing last minute. He didn't. And putting the school in a bind, So I just like, well, I'll stick on there. So it's me, and I'm the only dad chaperone. There'll be 4 other moms and a whole bunch of crazy kids. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just chilled. I had Cece, my daughter, and Laura were gone all week in Arizona for spring break. So it was just me. It was weird. Real weird, but awesome.
Yeah. What did you do? Have you been back on the sim?
To be honest, I didn't at all, which was kind of the weird thing. I didn't even do a minute of it. I watched a lot of TV. Me and Laura always watch our shows together, and there's a few shows, basically like Yellowstone and Landman and basically anything by Tyler Sheridan she's not into. So I just watched hours of TV every night. It was perfect.
Well, that sounds good. Well, I've been immersed in almost an F1 world. So I've been at the World Endurance Championship at Imola. The race finished, how long ago? Let me look. It finished 2 hours ago, nearly, hour and 45. So I do the coverage for TNT in the UK, Eurosport in Europe, and now it's on Max as well. But it's a cool event because it's in Imola, so Italy, great food, great booze, loads of fans. It's been really fun. But also there's so many F1 people in this now. So I interviewed Kevin Magnussen, I interviewed Jenson Button. For MotoGP people, I've been interviewing Valentino Rossi a couple of times this weekend because he's moved over to 4 wheels and he nearly won his class. They just came second.
Wow.
So I was chatting to him about an hour and a half ago. So yeah, it's been cool. It's hectic trying to keep up with the F1 and do my job, which I'm actually paid to do, to be at WEC. So, but yeah, it's been lovely. Italy's cool. The weather's not been that great, but such a cool track. And yeah, like I say, F1 here in not very long. So it's nice to see it. It's nice to see it. I'd love to come back for the F1 race. It must be mental because even for this, there's just fans everywhere, and Ferrari won, of course.
That's so fun.
And it's like one of those old school tracks. So it's a bit like F1, World Endurance Championship, in that there's some tracks they go to that feels like they've just paid to be on the circuit. So it's like big, wide, brand new, not a huge amount of atmosphere. Like in F1, you get fans wherever you go. But World Endurance Championship, if we go to like Qatar, Bahrain, there's not a big crowd. But you come here, and because it's Italy, the Ferrari factory is an hour and 15 minutes from here. So Ferrari qualified first and second, should have been first, second, and third. So there's like, I don't know, 60, 80,000 fans. It's just chaos. So yeah, it's been really cool. It's been really, really fun.
Are you allowed to talk about you driving the Red Bull car or the simulator yet? Are you allowed to talk about any of
I
that
am
stuff
now.
yet?
Yes.
Tell
I
us.
can do that now.
I've been waiting.
Yeah, so this was your wet dream, basically. I didn't drive the F1 car, but they're bringing out a new track car designed by Adrian Newey called the RB17. It's going to be a two-seater, no rules for Adrian Newey to worry about, hypercar. And it makes any other, even track-only cars, just completely obsolete, effectively. So it's 5 million, I don't know, pounds or euros plus VAT, plus taxes. So it's going to be like $6.5 million, I guess. They're going to build 50. And I went to Red Bull. I didn't go in the full F1 simulator. So they've got, what I didn't realize, they have loads of simulators there. But it shares an awful lot with the main F1 sim. It's built by Red Bull from the ground up. All the graphics, everything is theirs, all the modeling. And I got to drive around Silverstone GP and see if I could be as fast as a Formula One driver.
How close did you get?
Spoiler, I was not faster than a Formula One driver. But
Were there other
that,
people driving the same car that day?
No, there weren't. I am not a sim driver, I guess. And also I've never driven anything in real life that's obviously anywhere near an F1 car. I've been in some really quick stuff, but nothing like that. So my lap would have put me 5th on the grid for last year's Grand Prix. Literally the same 10th of a second as Max managed. I think he was 4th, so it would have put me 5th on the grid for last year's Grand Prix, which is fucking crazy. The fact they're going to sell this thing to normal people is off the scale. It's insane.
They're all just going to be in Saudi Arabia. Like, that's where at least 45 of them will be.
I guess so. I mean, it's not so much how fast it is. Obviously, on a sim, I pulled 5G under braking, 4.5G under cornering. So you're going around corners as quick as the F1 cars and braking as hard, basically. And in a sim, you can do it. The thing moves, but obviously it doesn't sustain any G-force. So you feel the sensation of the car turn, but it's not squeezing all your organs to the side of your body. I don't think any normal human will be able to do more than 10 minutes in the car. So it's going to take so much training. But I tell you what, like the braking distances that they use in F1, and this thing is basically the same as F1 braking distance. It's beyond comprehension. That it's possible. Like I was like, this can't happen. Like the engineers assured me the car will be able to do this, but you can't believe that any car could do it. But the fact that we just watched the race and Max is chatting, analysing, negotiating, talking about drivers' briefings they had 2 days ago, whilst doing this and racing other cars, if you are one of those people who watches, and we've all done it to a certain extent, I could do that. With a bit of training, I can do that. It's so alien. It's so far beyond actual driving, even for racing drivers. Like this is like next level stuff. It is vaguely superhuman that anyone can do it. So while we slag off the likes of, well, let's say Charlie slags off the likes of Liam Lawson, even if you're not at the very sharp end, what they do is nuts, truly nuts. Okay, so what do we want to tackle first on this race? Do we want to start with the inevitable qualifying meltdown?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the buildup to this race was pretty great. We were tight at the top. I think everyone was hoping for just an exciting weekend one way or the other. I mean, Lewis is out of any championship run at this point. So I just wanted it to be close. Obviously, because Lando was winning, I wanted Oscar to perform better this weekend. So we just have some jockeying at the top. But Max is right there. Mercedes are looking good. So it was shaping up to be a fun weekend with a lot of action. So going into it, I think in practice, it was kind of the same. McLaren was definitely the fastest two cars on the track, but Mercedes was up there and we had Max up there. But yeah, I guess we can get into qualifying, which was just felt throwback to me. Like these last minute pulling out lap times. I don't know. It felt very throwback to a couple seasons ago to me. And it was a good one.
Yeah, I have to say, just dipping in straight away, I've missed a lot of the build-up stuff because I've been working this weekend and it's just hard to catch up with all that. But what a track. Like, what a cool track. When you see it from above, lit up at night, and it all comes together, there's all these little pinch points, but it's so fast. So it's the first one for a long time that I can think of where the drivers sound slightly on edge and scared because there's so much risk. It's like Monaco, but at twice the speed. So it's such a cool track. And it was inevitable that I guess someone was going to stick it in the wall. And of the front runners, you probably would have guessed it might be Lando, which is sad. But I think the way his mental state was after the last round, you could almost write the script, couldn't you?
Yeah, especially when everyone's so tight. It's like you have to go tight to that last wall and tight to every single wall. There's not much room for error in this track at all.
Yeah, so I guess in qualifying we got to Q3 and pretty early on Lando put it in the wall. So
You realize
already
there's a Dax and Kristen commercial in behind you right now?
It's happening, yeah, on the screen.
I did the hair for that commercial. I just look and I'm like, there's Dax right behind you, Charlie.
But yeah, we had Lando put it in the wall right at the start of that Q3, which automatically bumped him down into P10 to start. Piastri and Max battling at the front, and Max just eked out, what was it, 1/100th of a second?
Mm.
Yeah, was it 1/1000th at the first bit?
1/1000th?
I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was insane.
0.0010. Unreal.
Matt, I think you posted one, but those like the ghost car that they show of the two drivers on their laps when they're this close is fascinating.
It's crazy.
Because they're never lined up. One always is doing better in certain points of the track. Maybe straight line speed is better for one, but it's just insane that after all of those turns, all the variable, all the things that they can be finishing, crossing that line, going 200 miles an hour at the exact same moment. It's just insane. And I love those graphics.
You'd get it if it's different, if it's the same car, but it's just so much more mind-blowing when it's completely different cars with different setups and they can get that close. It's fucking madness.
Yeah, and you think of all the variables, they're both the product of 1,000 minds and all these simulations, all these different tools, different components, different engines, different suspension, and they literally, you can't even separate them. You would never notice. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? It's really cool. But I have to say, what blew my mind a little bit was you can see Max is on the edge more than you can visibly see it with your eyes, that the car has more energy, more attitude. It just looks so aggressive what he's doing with the car. I love watching it. To me, there's talk of, will Aston Martin pay $1 billion for Verstappen? You watch one of those laps and you're like, he's worth $1 billion because he's the guy who is 100% making the difference. And I think we're seeing it more and more this year, that he's putting that car in places it shouldn't be. And just to see the raw energy in that car on a qualifying lap, you watch it and you're like, there's nothing left. There's like, we talk about them being separated by zero. There is zero left on the table. I don't think any human being could go any quicker in that car in a lifetime. It was just mega to watch. And
you're right, you can definitely see it during qualifying. Like, he looks quick on all the practice sessions or whatever, but you can see there's a different mode that he just clicks into when it's his last flying lap, and it's just all out there. He puts it all on the line, and he's the guy that will get the most out of it. I mean, we talked about it last week. I'm pretty confident when he's on that last lap and he's the only driver that doesn't have a time yet that he's going to put it on pole. And you don't feel that about the other guys. He's just able to get every last drop of performance out of that car, which is fun to watch.
And Oscar, in his post-qualifying interview, they're like, what could you have done differently? What could you have harnessed to get out more? And he's like, I don't know. You can he was like, I had a perfect lap, and still I'm beaten. And he's just like, what am I supposed to do? That's it. I need a better car, or because that's not me.
But he had a perfect lap in a car that everyone probably agrees is already faster as a car, and he still can't beat
yeah.
Max. I thought it was a monster display by Max, just like raw car control, force. It was like force of will. It was like, I'm putting this thing on pole regardless of what happens. It was like he just made it happen. Yeah, and I mean, what do we think of Lando post qualifying? He wasn't actually as down as he was the last time, because I think he was quick. He knew he was quick and he just made a mistake. So his mental state seemed stronger, but it just made you doubt that he's quite got it in him even more, didn't it? After that crash.
I mean, it's the last thing he needed, like when it really mattered to put it in the wall. We just don't feel like he has the mental edge as Oscar or Max or who else, George even. The adversity just seems to get to him a little bit more. And I thought he would seem more down after that wreck. Like, I thought that would really crush him. And looking ahead to the race, like, I'm surprised he faced that adversity and did so well and pulled himself out of it as best he could.
Yeah. Sebastian Vettel had a lot of things to say because people have been criticizing him, and Seb just got up and was like, everyone deals with shit. He doesn't think that Lando is any less mentally adverse than anyone else, and he kind of really just had his back and was saying some great things about Lando. So who knows? Maybe his words gave Lando some. He seems to inspire every driver, which is also funny. Side note, I'll just say it now. Apparently, Marco was asked who he could think would be his successor, and he said Sebastian Vettel, which you couldn't imagine two different human beings. Like, you go from Marco to then Sebastian Vettel. Would be a great thing for Red Bull if they did that.
It would, and it would be absolutely at odds with the way the rest of the world seems to be going at the moment. It would be nice to go from some sort of lunatic dictatorship to someone who is actually compassionate and gets people and human beings. Yeah, no, he is super cool. I want to do a side note as well before we get to the race, because a couple of things. Do you watch it on Sky F1 or F1 TV?
I watch on Sky, yeah.
Oh, you did? I thought Jamie Chadwick, who they had as the expert, was great. She asked the right questions when she did the podium. It's actually quite nice because Brundle sets such a high standard, and I feel like anyone who comes in, you can't help but compare him. And I don't think anyone's quite been up to scratch as yet, but it was really cool to see her come in and actually do a great job. And as a journalist, this is really geeky, but when they have a lot of ex-drivers or Gunther Steiner or someone asking questions after qualifying, it's like they've never asked any human a question in their life before. It's bizarre the way they talk to people, but she just nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. And it was like, it reminded me of Brundle. It was like super constructive, super expert, but made it really understandable for everyone as well. So I want to give Jamie big props. And also, Matt, I want you to discuss Toto's hair, because it feels to me it's out of control.
It's like, I still find him so handsome, but you're right. I was looking at it and I was like, have you not had a couple seconds to get a haircut in a year? It's not like he's growing his hair out. It's in a really, really weird state. And he's not, I don't know. It felt like it looked good for so long. I don't know what's happening at all. It seems like he's just completely disheveled, and he was always the most put together guy.
Yeah, I thought it was just me, but I was watching. I was like, Toto's not looking himself. And like, it's funny because Mercedes have they're getting back there. They're doing actually really good. But last year, if it had cut to Toto and his hair was out of control and he was like falling off his chair or something, it would have made sense. But this year he should be back to his suave best. But it was, yeah. I mean, I said to you, it looked to me like he'd been backpacking around Asia for like 6 months and just hadn't been able to do this thing. It was super weird.
He's getting less camera time because they used to love shooting to him, and he's taken off his headphones. He's pissed off. He's not happy. So they'd shoot it to him all the time. And now he's like, we're doing okay. No one's looking at me. I can look like shit. It's fine.
But maybe he's making us try to feel better as well, because Susie posted the beach shot, which I'm sure Dax was extremely impressed with. And that was more of the $1 billion super cool Toto that we've come to expect.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? Another thing I noticed this qualifying more than any other qualifying is when Brundle follows a lap from start to finish and describes every little detail. I'm just like glued. It is like I think If F1's sexy, that's the sexiest thing about F1 is when Brundle breaks down that lap time, in my opinion.
Well, he pointed something out that I never really thought about, but obviously it makes sense, is how close and where they're putting that car on the track, how big of a difference it makes. And they're like, whether you're inside or outside, that distance is now 5 meters longer or 10 over the course of a lap. And that's a car length. And that's a big difference over every single lap. And it's like these tiny little things about where they're placing the car. And he knows all of it. And I think it was him also, he's talking about, which I hadn't heard before, on this track, because it was so tight and confined, that they almost had, if you were not in dirty air, they almost had this wind pushing you around like it would be in a whirlpool.
Current. Yeah.
Like a current. And he was saying it's so tight, so you're in dirty air pretty often, so it kind of negates that effect. But if you had a little space, because they were going around so fast and it was so tight, there was like this current effect, which I had never heard before, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so qualifying was it was awesome. It was truly awesome, very dramatic. Ferrari disappointing again. Leclerc actually did really well, but Lewis just seems to be disappearing. But let's get to the race because we haven't talked about that. And started off very, very, very dramatically for a couple of reasons. And then it sort of settled down, didn't it, after that? It was still cool to watch, but the first, 5 minutes were probably the best 5 minutes of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was inevitable we were going to have a safety car. Just when was it going to happen? And so right off the gate, Piastri gets a great start, looks like he made the move and forces Max wide. Or it's up for debate, I suppose. But Max went wide, overtook outside of track limits. And, we see this all the time. It's like, do you give the spot back and just say, who cares? It's turn one of the race. I'll get it back. Or do you risk it and risk the penalty and on and on and on? And so many times, I feel like in the past we've said, it benefits the driver just to eat the 5 seconds, deal with it later, get out in front, and you'll be good. This one, I don't know. He got that 5-second penalty, which I think by the time you pit, it ends up being more like 6 seconds, and he only lost by less than 3.
Mm-hmm.
So he did have the benefit of being out in front and being able to control the pace and do all that, manage his tires. But he also if he had those 5-6 seconds back, just based on the pure timing of it, he would have finished out in front. So that was exciting in the first 5 seconds of the race. And then obviously for me, a huge bummer. I was pulling for Yuki. He started in 8th. He was looking good, like he found a little rhythm. And then him and Gasly came together and wrecked.
So sad to see. For both of them, too. Like, Gasly was doing well, too. And it sucks because they're also good friends. They love each other so much. And it was hard to see whose fault it was. Like, I watched that replay over 100 times, and it's like each time I watch it, I was like, maybe that was Yuki. No, maybe that was Gasly. It was a tough one. I think it was just a bad timing.
I mean, it's typical. Yeah, it's first lap, isn't it? It's a narrow part of the track. They're going quick. They're trying to find position. It's one of those classic first lap things. It was a real shame. What was your take on Max? Because it's so tough because Max will basically never allow himself to be overtaken. Like it's just not going to happen. So you're always going to be then debating, well, was it fair? Was it not fair? And you can sort of see both sides. There is no doubt Oscar didn't leave a ton of room, or any, in fact, but also no doubt there's no way Max was turning into that space anyway. He was going too fast.
And if Max was Oscar, he would have done the exact same thing.
That's what we wanted to see, was could Oscar compete and fight and battle and go wheel to wheel with Max? I think so many times Max intimidates the other driver into giving him that position, and Oscar didn't budge. And he didn't give him a lot of room, but also, like you said, Max wasn't going to make that turn, and there's no room to give there. We're talking all these cars flying into turn one, and I think Oscar had it. I think he had position. He was on the inside. I don't know. It seemed obvious enough to me, and I would have given that position back right away. But I like to see it. I think that's what we need to see out of Oscar for him to really compete at the top, is like, yeah, he's not going to back down. He's confident enough in his car and his driving that he's just going to do his thing.
Yeah, he's super cool, isn't he? And I think you're right. Normally, I'd say just go into the distance if you can. But because the McLaren's so quick, he was never going to disappear, Max. So I think he would have been better to give it back, because DRS seemed to be pretty powerful. People were passing pretty easy. He would have been better to bide his time, overtake him on the track. And he probably had a better chance that way. But I guess it's easy in hindsight. But yeah, Oscar, he just keeps ticking it off, doesn't he? He does the right thing. He doesn't make mistakes. He puts his car in the right position. Wasn't intimidated by Max, and now I don't know. I think Max is driving so well that he could still win the title even with this car. But I think there's going to be weekends where he does finish 6th when the car's just not up there with the McLaren. So maybe Oscar's title favourite now. I bet if you went to the bookies, he probably would be, actually.
I would agree. Yeah.
It's my guy, baby. My guy.
It seems like McLaren's going to take the Constructors' Cup pretty easily, which I'm kind of bummed out because I wanted us to get to this point in the season where they had to make a choice. You know, we're getting close. They got to give one guy the points, or maybe Max will creep up and then they'll have to choose a little bit. But I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of a battle at the front so that McLaren would have to choose who that guy is. And I think we talked about this before, but they don't have one declared. And it's going to come down to who's winning when they need to make that decision. Does Piastri have 20 more points? Well, he's probably going to be the number one guy and get the benefit of that lead driver role. But I don't know if we're going to get to that point.
The thing is, it's all relatively happy families, but it can't be forever. Like these two are there. Let's say it's those three, Max, Norris, Piastri in the title fight. Sooner or later, they're going to crash into each other, or one of them is going to be asked to move aside and they're going to refuse. That is 100% going to happen. It's irrefutable that will happen. It's just a matter of when. And if those two are as buddy-buddy as they are at the end of this season, I will eat one of Ferrari's jizz hats. Like, there's no way. There's no way they're still going to be best friends. It's impossible. Or even there's going to be a deterioration. There's going to be some sort of Cold War. There has to be. There has to be. And I can't wait to see it because it will be really cool because we've got super emotive Lando, ice cold robot killer, Oscar. So that's going to be the story. It's just a matter of when does that first explosion happen. It's going to be super cool.
I think that'll happen next year. I think Oscar's going to win the championship. And then if he wins the championship, he's going to gain more confidence. He's going to be prioritized a little bit, and it's going to drive Norris nuts. My prediction is if Oscar wins the championship this year, Norris will never win a constructor championship. That's my prediction.
Drivers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And will he leave as well? He may well leave.
That's the other thing is at some point, one of them will have to leave. And yeah, probably the one that didn't win.
Yeah, it's just hard to predict because Norris, I think he has the ability to like put 3 results together and just disappear because he is super quick. And I think he has the edge on just pure 1 lap pace over Oscar. But if he doesn't do it soon, it is that spiral, isn't it? It's just confidence. It gets in your head and then it's going to be tricky. So yeah, I think there's a lot to look forward to with McLaren. Feels like Mercedes, they've got another year before they need to worry almost because George is just a bit quicker. Antonelli's doing a great job considering he's a rookie. And Ferrari also are not going to have this problem at the moment because Leclerc's on fire. Lewis looked like he was going to gel with the car really quick and now it's gone the other way. And I don't know if he continues to perform like this, how does he even, let's say we get to the end of the year and he's been beaten by Charles in like every qualifying session virtually, finishes 4 places behind him and he's like 9th or what. Is he going to stick around for another year on top of that? It just seems unlikely somehow.
I think he still gives it another year. I think he's been around long enough to know that there's work that he can do, feedback he can give. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I hope he sticks around another. I like him in a Ferrari.
Yeah, I can't imagine him going somewhere else.
No, he's done. After this, he'll be done, surely. So it's just a question of does he feel like it's worth sticking around? I guess we'll see. I still believe he has it in him. Like he is such a great driver, but it's just not happening at the moment. So have we had 2 races in a row where one of us has predicted P10 correctly?
We have not until just now. And let me tell you, what a pick, Hadjar. What an incredible pick. I'm on a roll. Man, felt better than anything else I did all weekend was watching those last 4 laps, watching Sainz and Albon just work together to keep my P10 alive. What a pick.
Wait a second. Did you pick Hadjar? I thought Matt picked Hadjar.
I thought I picked Hadjar.
I think I pick Hadjar.
I don't know. We're going to have to re-listen because I just raised my arms.
Oh.
I'm pretty confident I picked Hadjar.
Oh, this is great. This is great. We're going to have a
I said I
stewards
picked Hadjar because
inquiry.
I picked him every single week this year, and I was like, I'm picking him until he wins. So we'll have to see. I think I won. We'll have to come back to this one.
I'm
We're
in
gonna check
agreement
the
with
tape.
you, Matt. I think you won. Let's say it's as the loser in this group, I'm going to call this a team victory for the Party Mode podcast anyway. Because
Yeah,
if you two,
regardless, someone in our podcast got P10 twice in a row, which is incredible.
Okay, well, in the
Unprecedented.
unlikely event that you are correct, what was your experience like?
Honestly, I didn't think about it until now. I was like, shit, I won. I was watching it through the race, and then I saw like he wasn't. I was worried he was going to pass Sainz or no, pass Albon. That's what I was worried about. And then they were like, I don't know if he should risk it, and I was like, yeah, don't risk it. Don't. It's too risky. Stay there. So I was pretty excited. Other thing, this race though, guys, this is the first race this season the pole sitter didn't win. Because we said it was going to be a pole sitter and a qualifying thing. So that's also pretty exciting. And we were shit-talking. I was shit-talking Norris. He had a fucking hell of a drive today, too.
Yeah, I will
he
say,
did.
even though he was not happy with the result, and obviously putting it in the wall during qualifying is not ideal, but for him, I think it was the bright spot of the weekend was that he did come back from it. He started in P10. He avoided all that commotion in the first little bit. No errors, no mistakes, and just kept climbing his way back up, which I think is huge for him that he didn't just implode.
I'm just still highly amused that you two were both thinking that you were winning P10 at the same moment. I wish you were in the same room. That would have been so good.
I was watching qualifying like, ooh, all right, I kind of like where we are. The whole race.
There's not money on it this year, so it's not as like exciting or detrimental if it is or isn't.
It's great though.
Well,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, either way, we've correctly picked it twice. So that's pretty good.
Okay, we're on a roll. So let's do. Is it another race next weekend? This is insane.
No,
It
we
can't
got a
be
week
another
off.
race, is it? We got a
Miami.
week off. Okay, cool. So we can think about our P10s. We have a little bit of time to continue this roll.
Any other race highlights from the weekend for you guys?
Let me look at I took a picture of the finishing order as it literally just happened.
You know what? I think a couple of great moments in the race, though, was definitely one thing we forgot in qualifying. Max was on a qualifying lap. I forget if it was the last one or not. And he was going, and Lewis was on a cool down lap, and he moved over just in time. And Max, on his flying lap, gives him a thumbs up as he's fucking going around the corner, which, when we talk about like doing something else, is fucking amazing. In your qualifying lap, you're thinking of taking everything out of this car and you're lifting your hand off the wheel and giving a thumbs up. Then we also have Oscar calling out a blinking red light on a balcony, saying that he's worried that that's a red flag and can someone attack it. Then I'm starting to think like, okay, what is happening on here? Is security running up to like this room and what are they doing? Are they doing that on purpose to try to fuck shit up? Like, is this like a tactic that some drunk idiots are like, let's fuck up the whole race?
Well, it was a pretty cool race. I mean, yeah, the whole Seb Vettel thing that he did was pretty cool. But the fact that women were only allowed to drive in Saudi in June 2018 is a bit of a shocker, isn't it? It's, I don't know. I guess the F1 is raising awareness. Isn't that the line we always use when someone pays a load of money to have a sporting event? F1 is raising awareness and breaking down barriers. So, yeah, go F1. You guys are the best.
F1. Changing the world.
Changing the
Making
world.
the world a better place.
Tiny increments while making loads of money. No, it's super cool. I think Oscar's the guy, but Max, another heroic drive. And who knows if Norris can come back stronger. So many more questions at Miami. But we will come back next week with a preview show. And we've got pulp. You want to do pulp now? Okay, fine. Okay, let's do that.
We got good pulp. Okay, so first of all, another thing that I realized is pretty cool. Haas, so Behrman and Ocon, have gained the most positions in the races this year than any other team combined. Isn't that fucking amazing? Like Haas, who knew Haas is just giving it in the race? And then we have Lance Stroll, who just set the record as the only F1 driver with the most exits in Q3 in history.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
What a record. What a
I know.
record.
That's what
I
happens
mean-
when your dad owns a team.
Dad must be so pleased with those billions and billions of dollars that he spent to get a record. To get a record in F1 for Lance is the payback that Lawrence deserves for all of his
He
investment.
went down the list and like, let's look at all the current records and which one of these can we tackle? Which one is going to be easiest for us? And he went the most Q3 disqualifications.
He'll probably hold that one for a long time, I think.
And most people aren't given the chance to
No.
stick around that long.
You
I
got
think
to
it was
one
75 or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Most people are getting cut around 25.
and he's got a whole season ahead of him. He's going to extend that lead. It's going to be hard to break.
And another season, and maybe another.
I saw an interview with Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, and they were talking about things that make them feel at home on the road. So Alex Albon always has like a diffuser, like an incense diffuser that has lemongrass coming out of it. Because like when he goes home to Thailand, that's the thing that makes him the most comfortable. So that's what brings him home. Carlos Sainz says the thing that makes him feel at home is he always uses the same toothpaste. Very important to him. So for you guys, when you're traveling, what makes you feel the most at home? What's a weird little thing that you bring or do when you're traveling in a hotel?
I don't think I bring anything, but what I always do without fail is unpack my clothes, my suitcase. I hang everything up. I put it in the drawers. I could be there for 12 hours. I could be there for 12 days. It's all getting put away, hung up. I want my bag out of the middle of the room. I want everything in the closet, in the dresser, all of that. So I do that. That's probably what makes me feel most at home or settled.
Yeah. Jethro, what do you do to feel at home?
I spend so much time in hotel rooms, and I don't want to feel at home in hotel rooms. Because I spend a lot of time traveling with really low budgets, like editorial magazines and stuff. So I definitely don't want to feel at home in them. So I just want to get out as quickly as possible. And then if I'm in a luxury hotel, I think my number one thing is to be as wasteful as possible. I like to be incredibly wasteful. I like to use thousands of towels every time I shower. I just like to feel incredibly indulged because I've got a family and I spend my life cleaning up after them. And I'm like, this is my shot. This is my shot to live like my children who act as though the world just will clean up whatever they do. Like that's the way it works. That they don't have to worry about these things. So I can have that zero consequence life. I can just use 50 towels, throw them all over the floor, and just luxuriate in having no responsibility. So I don't try to be at home. I try to either get home quickly if it's a crappy hotel, or I try to treat the hotel room like my children treat my house, which is a rare luxury, I have to say.
And when you're watching a movie and you're crying, do you just like take the Kleenexes and throw them right on the ground? Like you just don't even fucking care. You're like, I don't even care where these crying Kleenexes go. The only thing I do is I bring my white noise machine. White noise machine. The only thing I always have to have with me. I need that fucking loud.
And do you have to have a dark room? My missus is like obsessed. The room has to be so incredibly dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being in a sensory deprivation chamber. I absolutely hate it. I wake up and it's like someone's kidnapped me, put a bag over my head. I don't know where I am. I hate it. I like light bursting through the curtains. That's the way I like to wake up. So yeah, noise machine and blacked out, I do not like.
Yeah, fair enough. I like it black. I got to talk about one person, in my opinion, in the F1 coverage who has drastically improved is Bernie Collins. At the beginning, it was like an engineer, and I get it. I work with Dyson, and like sometimes they throw an engineer into a publicity spot that they have to do all this stuff, and they have no idea what they're doing at the beginning, and then get good. She has gotten really good. Her insights are so amazing, and she's realized how to be a host on a radio show, which I think is really good. At the beginning, she kind of was just a little out of her element, had the knowledge, but now she has the element and the media training, which I really enjoy her.
I have to say, I agree. The accent is
it's tough.
Is a strong Northern Ireland accent. The accent's tough, but the insight is good. They've got some good people coming on Sky now doing that stuff. So yeah.
We also share a last name, so she's incredible. We're related, guaranteed. Oh my God, I got to tell you guys the grossest thing that happened to me this week, though. I was doing a 2-hour seminar and I was paired up with this guy, good guy. About an hour in, I guess he needed to blow his nose. So I'm thinking he's going to go and blow his nose. So he just lifts his shirt up, blows his nose in his shirt, which I'm like, it's fucking disgusting because we're like working with each other and sweating. Then all of a sudden the guy's like, okay, now we're going to do some clinching. So my face is right where his snot was, and I have never been more disgusted in my life. I left that seminar so fast and showered. It was the grossest moment of the week for me. And I just had to share that with you guys because I haven't been able to talk about it.
I would have been out. That's too much for me.
Yeah, no, that's gross. Are you good at this fighting? Are you getting pretty good at this?
I do like 6 hours a week. So
do you fight or do you practice? Because my brother is one of these people who does like karate, and I'm like, you're not actually fighting. You're just doing stuff. It's not. It's like some sort of dance move, you know. It's not real fighting unless someone.
If we weren't recording right now, I'd be sparring right now because there's an open mat 9 to 12. So I'll go and you do a 3-minute round with someone else, and then you move on. There's usually 20 people in the gym. And so you're just fighting someone else. And you could be fighting a dude way bigger than you, way smaller than you, girls, guys, doesn't matter. You go lighter or heavier depending on what someone's doing. Usually you're going light until someone decides to go a bit harder, and then you decide to go harder. It's always different. Charlie spars every week too with boxing.
Yeah, Charlie keeps everyone at arm's length. He doesn't want snot all over him, which makes perfect sense to me.
No, I will never spar with this guy again. Fucking horrible.
So will you do an actual fight, like a competition fight? Are you going to go? You're doing Muay Thai, right? Yeah. So are you going to fight with someone?
My goal is, I'm 43. My goal is 45 to go to Thailand on a 2-week vacation and fight train. And then near like the week and a half into the trip, do a fight and have a few days to recover after. Might get my ass kicked, might something. I don't want to do a lot of fights. I just want to do one's kind of fight in Thailand is what I want to do.
What's the draw to fight? Tell me the mentality, because I don't have any desire to fight anyone, so I'm intrigued. Like, I'm competitive and like I've done racing and stuff, so I want to win, and it hurts when I don't, but I don't want to actually put my fist into someone's face or my knee in their groin or whatever.
I don't think I would say it was the urge to fight per se. It was, I wanted to try boxing. I never did any combat sport. I wrestled for a little bit, but never did any like combat sports or anything growing up, and wanted something different fitness wise. I wanted to like learn a new skill. And so I just chose boxing and found a coach. Didn't want to do classes, like didn't want to do cardio boxing. I wanted to like learn the skill of it, like how to do it. So I started doing it. It's a ton of fun. And I am also insanely competitive. So of course that turned into wanting to be the best person when there's 5 of us sparring in the gym. Wanted to go a little extra so that next time I had a little bit more training, which led into, well, what am I doing all this for if it's not, what's the finish line? Mm-hmm. And so that was initially how I decided, like, yeah, I'm going to do one. That'll give me 6 months to cut weight and to train harder and do all this, and I'll have a goal as opposed to just going and going and going and going.
So the fight's soon, because the fight's soon.
You look slim. You look fight ready.
Yeah. He's at 189, right?
189.
Just such peaceful guys. It surprises me.
I got a daughter now. I need to, That's
great. Okay, more pulp, or are we done with the pulp, Matt?
That's it.
Okay, we've actually covered quite a lot of stuff, from Toto's hair to Max's superstar qualifying to Charlie's secret fight that we're going to find out about and won't be a secret for long, hopefully, to bodily fluids that Matt's been sharing with other people. So it's been a great catch-up on Saudi. And Miami's next up, where you boys have been before. I've never been. So we'll get some of your insight into that track, that race, and that experience next week. But until then, we are going to say, well, we don't say push, push, push. So we're going to say we will speak next week and preview the Miami Grand Prix.